Good afternoon, good evening, for maybe if you're in a good morning time zone, good morning too. We'll just give it a minute or two, and then we'll just get that started. Thank you all for joining us today. Right, let's get this started. Again, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Santosh. Santosh Srikant. I lead the business partner ecosystem across India. I just wanted to really welcome you all for a quick interactive session around data-driven marketing, especially around the theme of without the tech ache. And again, joining with me, with really, if you're on the On24 webinar platform for the first time, here's a quick sections and icons help where how you can utilize this afternoon for us. We're going to have two people joining on me today. One is a Kavi Chaurasia, who's an industry executive and been there, done that, and then still equally passionate about doing things and learning things in doing new way. And we have Biju Nambiar, who's, well, I would say the most passionate individual who really cares about customer success and always trying to come up with new ways of doing things. So Biju is already joining with me on that. So Kavi and Biju, do you want to just say a quick hello?
Thank you, Santosh. Thanks for having me here. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. Hope you enjoy the discussion going forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Santosh. Thank you for introducing and looking forward for this conversation.
Thank you, both. I'm equally excited as well. Just wanted to highlight, we understand the importance of the time here. I'm just going to give quick introduction and the conversation with Kavi, and then we're going to straight jump in Biju's perspective from a real, actually live scenarios in terms of his experience working with the CMOs and CDOs, and a lot of marketeers out there, and what's his perspective around that. Of course, we're going to have a Q&A, and feel free to post your questions in the chat. Okay. And again, let's go to the next one where we're going to have quick conversation with Kavi Chaurasia. Kavi, again, welcome. So can I just take some time? Can you just take some time to quickly introduce about yourself, and let's get started.
Thank you once again, Santosh. So for everyone, I am currently associated with Mystifly Consulting based in Bangalore. Mystifly is a leading player in airline retailing, a global airfare distribution and aggregation and payment fulfillment partner for airlines and 1,000 plus travel businesses globally. I have been associated with different companies in the past 16 years, and I'm managing marketing from execution and implementation, right from there to strategy, strategizing the campaign for brands and positioning the products. So what I've witnessed actually and sailed through since 2006, amid 360-degree technological changes in marketing and advertising approach, I've seen that the days where we were actually looking for SMS launching platform from a marketing campaign point of view, and then moving on to the email marketing, then Google AdWords and AdSense came into picture, then Facebook Extension, Zedo, sort of tools came into picture. Today, we are actually crossing the phase wherein we are personalizing the customer outreach. So advent of technology and multi-optional tools made the greater impact as far as the marketing execution is concerned. The major difference what I've actually seen today versus earlier, today it is very difficult to win the argument if you don't have the data, the accurate data with you. And if somebody is a creative person, and if you have to show your ideas for approval, you have to go for a cost-benefit analysis and so on. But if you have the data, it means that you have a superpower wherein you can obtain the approvals very, very quickly because you have 50% success already, which data is actually telling you. But what I see in the past 15 years, there is a greater imbalance the way we treat psychological ideas versus rational, numerical, spreadsheet-driven. So the data basically does not tell everything. We have to actually look into the emotional and behavioral aspect of it. So this is what the journey from 2006 till today, I've been learning right through that how technology is actually disrupting the real customer outreach. Santosh.
Thank you, Kavi. I appreciate that. That was a good introduction. Thank you so much. And again, look, there's a couple of things I took away from it. While today, like you mentioned, it was different how we used to do it versus today. But again, having too much of that technology brings in also complexity and adds that bit of that. So, what I learned about your industry experience is you've started, with this local, national, and kind of now international roles. So I'm sure you must have really gone through some of the persona changes. When I say personas, like you are really have had challenges adopting to different customer audiences across the regions and geographies. How were you able to manage that?
Exactly. So these challenges will keep on coming, and it was coming right from the previous days. Even today, the challenges are there. But of course, there is a technology that can actually solve that problem. But what I see, the insights, the insight from the data that companies or the organizations are already sitting with, how that story comes out from that data actually matters a lot. So when I actually talk about how do you interpret the data or make decisions based on the data, there are three important components, right from so data is one, then technology, and the strategies, how you want to strategize the insights that are coming from the data. But the first and foremost thing that every company and organization is sitting on the data but data can be obtained. According to me, it is not. It has to be generated. So data only gives the problem. So the problem defines the objective. And once the objective is defined, it has to be translated into the data project. And then the data insights actually translate into action, right? So, for example, if I have a problem, how to fill the gap when I have a problem from one region to another region wherein there is a gap of 40% conversion. So region A is actually converting 40% more. So where do I get that insight and solve this problem? So there are two ways of it. One is definitely to go for the reports which are available in public. Find out, says that Google study says that there are 93% marketers believe that if you increase your speed of your mobile site or the website or the app, it will actually help you to increase more conversions. That is one side of it. The other is that to interpret the data which you're sitting with and actually derive the decisions out of that'll actually make greater impact for the longer term, right? So the similar example, in my previous assignment, one of the previous assignment in the airline company, when the problem was that 90% of the sales are actually happening on channel partners, like 10% is only happening on the company website. So the problem was defined, but how to solve this problem? So one is that to go out and actually bombard the audience with the emails and ask them to click on that and come onto the website. That was one, but it was not guaranteed. It was all futile. So what is the other thing? So what I actually found is there was a company owned a call center, which is 50-seater call center, 24/7, approximately 150 people actually answering calls. Per day, 2,000 odd calls are actually falling into that center. And, so the customer database is getting built, but it's not getting used. How to get it used, what kind of information I can derive from that nerve center, just probably, when the call ended, the conversation ended with the red-faced customer or he was happy. Customer deserves a call back or not. The friendly and loyal customer differentiation. Whether the customer was satisfied with the service or he was dissatisfied, or he deserves a call back later, right? Customer calling more than 20 times a month, for why is calling, right? Whether you need to change the agent who's sitting and taking the call. So by taking out the insights from this data, I was able to make out that there is a problem, and this can be improved by at least 15% from here. But there's another challenge, that there's a lot of data which you cannot do it manually. You need a third-party tool or a partner to solve this problem, right? So this is one of the use case I just narrated, that how within the system the data tells you everything, but it actually sits in the cloud. It says that I am here and do something with me. So marketeers, have to derive the solution out of the data.
That's great, Kavi. And I like the way your approach. How do you approach that problem by keeping customer at the center, and while you had a lot of other options, but you really focused on, what matters to the customer. Love that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing with us. That gives me the interesting section where I want to understand, now that you have a problem, you really have find out maybe one or two many ways of solving it. If you have to really look at getting a technology to solve that as a combination, what are the three things that you would keep in mind based on an outcome-driven approach to help you make decision?
So the foremost thing is whether I know my customer. So customer profiling, whether it is happening already or not. So in my industry, the customer profiling usually does not happen because it is actually based on numbers and pricing and number of seats. the capacity, yield, etc. So these are the terminology that we use in the industry. So customer profiling is a key here. When I say customer profiling, it should not be like when a customer is actually tend to open a particular email, or when he's expecting or he or she is expecting a particular offer, so that you are actually hitting the customer at the right time. That is the one aspect of it. The other aspect is definitely the behavioral aspect. So if I hire an agency, can actually create a brand positioning or a customer or a company profiling by using psychographics and demographics, but whether this agency can give me a real profile of each customer, that is a challenge. Because if I have a customer base of 4 million, and I have a potential customers another 4 million, it is a daunting task for any individual to actually profile and create a subsets of those customers. So that is the foremost thing. According to me, if I know my customer, I can actually run a number of campaigns. I can push a number of solutions and on offerings at the right time to increase the convergence. Santosh.
Thanks, Kavi. So if I understand, basically, if I understand right, your process would be like, first is really get to the single view of a customer profile and attach behavior to it, basically real-time behavior to it. And then third time, ability to execute that in relevance to the behavior. That's a good time. Thank you.
Exactly what I want to say. Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Kavi. So, now the actual coming to the question around, look, now that you've actually shown the 3 areas where you're going to focus on, I've seen this a lot where, we have another passionate entrepreneur who's going to be joining us and talking about that in bit, but TechAche. If you look at the evolution, it's massive in this marketing landscape. How real is this in your opinion? And if you see that, what's the next disruption that you're looking at in this area, according to you?
Yes. So according to me, too much dependency on the technology and the numbers actually going to be very dangerous for decision makers going forward, because the numbers are overlapping now, and it gives different results when you only take decisions based on the numbers. So there is another factor comes into picture, which is behavior. What I see is that behavioral economics actually, combined with marketing strategies, should be a next disruptor going forward. So, and the examples are there. I mean, if you see Google, for many, Google would be a great tech success, but if you look at the kind of touch point that Google has, it's rather psychological success. Right from the speech recognition to the image searches, initially started with text and then converted into image and then speech recognition, and so on, right? So Google builds the data based on the psychology that people are actually expecting out of it. I mean, the data is getting built out of the data. So, and it's actually majority of the data is getting built based on the behavior, what we search, what we actually look for, and it actually creates into trend and then convert into strata of audiences, and then create a complete segment of the audience, which gives a real insight that set 1 and set 2 versus set 3 are different from each other. Their behavior, their choices, their working style, probably their future as well. So behavior is going to play a very important role here. I'll give you one example. This example is quite famous, it's quite popular. when you explain how to derive the data and how you think that something is happening. So, for example, for many, you're in a party and you're a non-smoker or a smoker, uh, two people, and probably you're in the party, and one person who actually stands in the window, watching out of the window, standing alone. He's not doing any networking. The third person will see and find that the person is actually antisocial and and things like that, right? But when the person is actually smoking with a glass of wine in hand, probably the image would be like he might be a philosopher or a writer, like that. So this is the interpretation. How do we frame a particular data set? So the decision might go wrong based on the data set only, but the behavior actually plays a key role. When the same person is actually coming and talking, and rather than you talk to that person and find out what exactly his nature is, right? So behavior actually is going to play the role, according to me, in the coming future. Probably it's already has started playing a disruptor role.
Wait, completely agree, Kavi. This is Biju here. I completely agree with you. The behavior is definitely going to be a key element to the entire segmentation. And of course it's picking up a lot of pace now, because now we are able to kind of convert that behavior into a data and able to analyze that data. So that's a very good insight, and I'm sure that you're already implementing it in Mystifly, and you're seeing results with that, isn't it?
Definitely, Biju, and we look forward for the more insights out of this disruptor, which is actually going to. I mean, it's good for the industries also, wherein a market is actually adopt this function of narrating the data out.
Hey, thanks, Biju. I mean, I'm back again. Sorry, I just had a tech ache moment. Right. So yeah, I lost you a bit, Kavi, but yeah, I think the behavioral economics is something that I am very eager to hear about. So Biju, again, I'm not sure if you already given a quick introduction, but I would love to get you on board and just get a quick introduction, really give us your perspective, because on a daily basis, you sit with people like Kavi and a lot of people, and make these plans come real, right? I'm more curious to understand how do you put a customer success at the front?
Yeah, Santosh. So this is exactly the topic of today's webinar, right? I mean, a lot of marketing friends that I have, and especially managing and responsible for marketing across the brands, multiple brands that they are owning. One thing very clearly stands out is everybody wants to run a data-driven marketing. They are all matured. They're picking up. They know that things are going to get heated up in this space. But the only impediment that they find is that the technology aspect of it. I mean, they're too much worried about whether to invest in this technology or that technology, this tool, that platform, right? And they're literally confused in the true sense as to which is the right technology. So therefore, this webinar, we thought that we would want to share with the like-minded people and the marketers and the CMOs across that we have come to an era where I would say, of course, 3 years back it was all about technology evaluation. Today we have come to an era where you don't have to think about technology, right? You don't have to take that tech ache, which we call it as, right? You just focus on your customer journey. You just focus on the use cases that you want to implement. And there are platforms, there are secrets to doing a great data-driven marketing, which I want to take all the webinar attendees here. So thank you all of you for coming for this webinar and taking this time out. And I'm sure that at the end of this webinar you would find some useful tips and tricks, and you would have learned some really key secrets to doing a great data-driven marketing, which I would be revealing to you since we are the practitioners of data-driven marketing, when we are talking to the brands, we are actually implementing, finding out the results, iterating, optimizing, failing a lot of times because you won't get it right at the first time, right? If you're early on in your maturity stage to maturity stage, you will not get it first at the right at the first time. So there's a lot of learning that we have got across over the years that we have spent invested in understanding this space and be able to help our clients truly drive a data-driven marketing engine. So to my slides, can you see my slides, Santosh?
Yes, we can, Biju. Go ahead, please.
Okay, wonderful. So, so people on the webinar, right? I mean, I wanted to make it very, very clear that I'm here to give you a very bold promise, right? You really do not need any tech knowledge to drive a data-driven marketing in your organization, right? You absolutely need no tech knowledge, right? I'll give you that confidence. The next promise is the moment you would implement a use case of the data-driven marketing that I'm going to talk to you about, right? You would find significant immediate results that will come to your organization. And this we have, and I'm saying this with a lot of confidence because I've seen this happening with my clients, and I'm going to reveal, which are those use cases which are going to help you do this. So I'm going to get to the next slide, which I'm going to talk about the team of practitioners that we are. Since I spoke about I personally being a practitioner here, we have a team of people who have done a lot of cross-industry implementations. These are we call them marketing technologists and data scientists who've been able to show results to many of the industries, companies in sports, financial services, insurance, media and entertainment, right, and a lot of popular lifestyle brands. Since I cannot name them, right, because we have a NDA signed with them. But then to give you an assurance that this is something that is cross-industry, right? You don't need a tech knowledge, and you can be really successful when you start implementing it, and you would get tangible results out of it. Now the question is, who is this webinar for, right? I mean, quickly for the next a minute, I would like to kind of tell you very clearly that this is for not just for the marketers. This is also people who are in digital space, who are analytics, who are customer experience professionals and experts. You run an advertising agency, right? And of course, you are a business owner who have a lot of customers, and you are trying to monetize your communication. And if not any of the above that I've said, right? If you're just an avid learner and you really want to know, right, how a data-driven marketing is actually implemented, right? I mean, what is the real benefit, and how are the brands, how are the companies doing it? This webinar, the next 10-15 minutes is for you. So I would encourage you to leave everything that you're doing, just close the browsers, and I would want to reveal a few secrets, which is filtered out of the whole experience of more than 30 people of 10 years of experience. You could say 300 years of experience here. They're filtered down to few secrets that we are revealing on this webinar. At the end of the webinar, and after this webinar, you will also get an access to our enterprise marketing workflows and use cases. So rest assured that you will get value out of this webinar and post-webinar as well. Now, the question is that why you should invest in a data-driven marketing. The answer to this is there's only one answer. This is the most effective way to do marketing now, and in future, there is no other way. Period. I'm sure that you would have, people are on this webinar would have realized the importance of a data-led marketing Therefore, you are on this webinar, which I completely appreciate. Now, let me take you to few of the benefits that the clients that the brands and the clients that we have, which are deriving great benefits out of data-driven marketing. They're able to sell more, no doubt about it. They're able to sell more often, so this frequency of sales increases for the reasons that I'm going to tell you now. There is a reason why they're able to sell more and why there is the frequency of sales is increasing. They're able to know their customers better, which is one of the reasons. They have a far better reputation in the market because they just don't do a broadcast. They are understanding their customer and they are able to tailor that message. And they're able to put a content and context in place. And that's the most important aspect. And the final answer to this, right? I mean, the final benefit, right, for any CMO or for any marketing organization is the CMOs of these brands have greater respect in the boardroom, right? And we all agree that, marketing needs to build that reputation in the boardroom. Because over a period of time, marketing still talks very subjective. There is no objective numbers to show, which most of the marketers are struggling with, whom I have been talking to, and I see that this is one of the greatest advantage of doing a data-driven marketing is that you have numbers with you. So with that being said, guys, is there any reason for you to be doing marketing in any other way? No, right? Are you ready to learn these secrets? If yes, you can actually type in the Q&A. You can just so that we know that there are people already listening to us. That'll be motivation for us for the time that we are giving here and the time that you guys are dedicating. Now we will quickly move on to the before I talk about the secrets. I would want to share a very what do you say? It's a matter of fact that today we have some 8,000 tech tools, which is vying for the attention of the marketer in the marketing space. If you look at the slide that I'm currently projecting, in 2011 there were just 150 tools for marketing. Today there are 8,000 tools. We are in 2020, and it's just I'm sure that next 5 years you will see more and more tools, more and more platforms, crowding this space. And this is not a good thing for us, because I, being a marketer, I know that it just puts me, I'm so damn confused with what to choose and when to choose and how to choose and which technology, that I simply forget that I am in a marketing organization because I have to address to my customer journey. Having said that, let me talk to you about now the 5 secrets of any data-driven marketing success. Guys, this looks very simple, right? But let the simplicity of it not fool you, because this is all that you would require to be successful in marketing in 2020, 21, and in the future. Number 1 secret is you have to get all the right data in one place, and I'm going to tell you that how you can do it, and it's not a very complicated process. I will take you through that. The next secret is one single customer row with multiple columns. When I talk about it, I'm talking about what Kavi said, is that you need to have behavioral data as a part of your customer view, right? Which is very important for you to get a complete view of your customer. And then you cluster them based on segments plus behaviors. Now, once that once you have all the rows and the columns, right, you need to cluster them, in the sense you need to create segments purely based on earlier segmentation criteria, which would be demography, to the behaviors, and then only you will be able to get a dynamic segment which will make sense to overall marketing. Next would be the marketing campaign workflows, which is extremely important. If you're looking at a data-driven marketing, you don't think about doing all ad hoc. You don't think about doing all manual. You need to have workflows which are predetermined, which gets latched on to your to your segments, which is dynamic segment, and does things on its own to a certain extent. To certain programs, you can actually get things done on its own. And the marketing attribution, of course, you have to know your numbers if you're in, if you want to make any success out of the data-driven marketing investments that you're doing. So if I talk about all the right data in one place, what I'm talking about is, of course, that you have, if you're a brand and you have 500,000 customer base, right? You would have a mobile app for sure. You would have social media channels, Facebook, whatever, Google, you would have Pinterest, you would have Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere, right? And you would have all the data from your call centers. You would have an event that you'd be doing. There'll be some data from there. You would have number of publishing platforms. And of course, you have your own website, right, to track. And all these, and if you are an e-commerce company or you have something that you're, some of your services are digitally serviced, right? Then you have a lot of other things, which would be your loyalty systems, your order management systems. And if you actually look at all this data are all sitting in silos, all sitting somewhere, right? Not talking to each other. Now that's the number one secret that I was talking about, is to get all this data together, which will include your 360-degree insight into all that your customer is. What he is from a demographic perspective, his age, the city that he's in, his address, his phone number, to what behaviors that he's exhibiting in the digital space, right? Plus, there is also the responses of what marketing messages, how he or she is responding to certain marketing messages, also goes as a part of his behavior, which is very important for us to put a context to the overall marketing. You got the secret number 2, which is a one single customer row with multiple columns. Now, what I mean by this is after you've consolidated all your data, right, and after you've made an association that, okay, this is my customer ID, right? And this customer ID is attached to certain things, like when is the last time he visited, what is the last time that he bought, when did he renew, when did he subscribe, when did he unsubscribe, right? When did he lodge a complaint? Did he open my email? Did he like one of my Facebook posts? So on and so forth, right? So you need to you need to get that single view from an entire 360 point of view, and that's what the most successful brands are able to do today, is create one single customer view with multiple columns. Secret number 3. Now the question is how do you now cluster them, right? You have to cluster them based on certain demographical attributes plus certain behavioral aspects, right? So the first thing that we do is we actually segment the market on the MFR, which we call it as monetary recency and frequency. So why this is important is that I would want to know who is my high net worth individual customer, and who is the customer who actually interacts a lot with me, buys a lot of stuff, the frequency is more, and who is my latest new customer, because my onboarding is all built on my recency, right? My offers are based on the monetary value, right? And my discounts are based on my recency of the customer. So there are certain strategies that I am driving is completely based on my monetary recency frequency segmentation, which of course will result into something that you see on your computer now, is the dynamic customer segment. So once I do this, right, I can actually segment my customer base based on a champion customer, a promising customer, cannot lose, hibernating. Now let's say if I'm a marketer and I'm completely interested in something like this, if I'm able to know that I have to focus on my hibernating customer and how many are there, right? Currently in my view, and how can I reach them? How can I reactivate them, right? So for me to reactivate anybody, I need to know who are they, and that's exactly what the system, what the secret is all about, right? You have to understand one thing is. The segments are all going to be dynamic today, tomorrow, in the future. It's not going to be a demographical attribute that's going to decide which segment your customer falls. It is completely going to be very fluid and very, very dynamic. Moving on to the next secret, which is of course the darling of the marketers, is the campaign workflows. Now, why I say it's the darling is because a lot of the work of the marketers get, I would say, streamlined, and the stress is out of the marketers' daily routine, because a lot of it is workflows. A lot of it is predetermined. A lot of it is machine that takes care of the journey, right? So if you actually look at the most successful marketers today, what they're doing is that most of the use cases, right, which does not require a human intervention, right, or it's a certain scientific way of looking at what can I automate, what I can't automate. What I can automate, if I can put a workflow there, right, I will be able to focus more on more strategic things. And that's the real secret of the brands today, is most of the things, most of the workflows that you see, right, whether it's your onboarding campaign that you receive, or a cross-sell campaign that you receive, it's all a part of a workflow which is running on its own, and the machine is self-learning and making it contextual based on the learning of that it's getting from the data in the real time. The next secret is the most important secret. If you remember, the first thing, the fifth most important point of my number of secrets, maybe marketing attribution, but it is the number one reason that the CMOs are talking about data-driven marketing. The number one reason is they have to know their numbers, right? They have to know how the marketing is impacting the revenue numbers, how it is impacting the profit, how it is impacting the renewals, the subscriptions, so on and so forth. So marketing attribution is such an important aspect, and this is one of the biggest secrets that a CMO is able to sit in front of a CEO and tell, or in a boardroom, and be very confident when he or she talks about what is the impact of marketing today in the organization. So how do you do that? I mean, you have something called as the dashboards, which is kind of the reflection of all that KPIs, which we call the key performance indicators of a marketing organization. So whether you're looking at which segments are performing for you, which segments are converting, which is by gender, how does the segments look like, your customer base look like, what is the kind of people, the number of people who just buy once from your store and they never come back. How many people are there who buy just 2 times in the last 3 months and they never came back, right? So these are, and how many people are actually dormant, in the sense how many people have bought something but they have not come back for the last 6 months, which is dormancy for me. Like in an insurance, maybe an year is a dormancy, right? But for an e-commerce, a month is a dormancy. For hospitals, maybe 2 to 3 months is a dormancy, right? So I want to know how many people are dormant and who are they, because I need to get them reactivated, and that's the power of my marketing, because I will be able to get people to transact with me again, simply because I'm able to see who are those people, right? I mean, plainly put, I am today able to know who are those people who are not coming back to me and transacting. and I would also know why, right? Now, to do all this, you need a system, as we spoke about earlier, right? I mean, most of the marketers or CMOs you talk about, they definitely want to do this. They, of course, most of them know about a lot of things the brands and the most modern marketing organizations are doing, but they are just not able to do it is simply because they don't have one system that they can rely upon, and without the headache and the tech ache, right? They are able to focus on the use cases and the objectives that that their organization or their marketing wants to achieve this year. So if you actually look at what you see in front of a computer is a customer OS. It's a proprietary engine, right, which we have built with Acoustic, and this actually takes care of the entire data-driven marketing requirement of any brand, whether the brand has 1 million customer base or 100 million customer base, it doesn't matter. It has the capability to scale up, and it's flexible enough both on cloud as well as on-prem as well as hybrid. So this is this is something that that people are using one or the other systems, right? And definitely there is a lot of maturity around using a data science platform. There is a lot of maturity around using a marketing automation platform. But to simply put, you need an entire engine that takes care of everything from your data engineering, which is data coming into one place with a data mart, to doing a modeling, to giving you a recommendation, and then pushing that recommendation into the marketing automation engine for it to go and communicate to their end customer, for you to get that result, and for that customer to be supremely delighted about the entire experience. Having said that, I want to re-emphasize and want to give a summary of all the 5 secrets. I want you to take this down. These are the 5 secrets. You can go and talk to any of the marketers, and one or the other thing is definitely on their mind. And if you can work on this, right, and think about it, that how you can use it in your organization, and you want some help from us, do come back. Before that, the question that will be on your mind would be, how do you actually do all this thing, right? So we have something called as a 90 days plan. Now, while we understand that you cannot do all the use cases. You cannot just overnight become a robust data-driven marketing engine, but then you can have remarkable results within 90 days. And this is exactly the plan that we have laid out with our own experience for past many years. We've been doing that. Of course, the 90 days plan used to take more than 300 days early on. But due to our own experience and the kind of optimization that we have done and the learnings that we have, we've been able to reduce it to 90 days plan. If you look at the phase 1, is very clear. In the 0 to 30 days, you're going to design and define your customer journey and the use cases, right? In the phase 2, while we are doing this, right, we're going to discover, stitch, and connect your data, which are required to run your most critical use cases. When I say most critical, is one of the most critical use cases would be an onboarding use case for you, right? Which is just for an example, right? For that, you would need a data that comes from your transaction system, right? And that needs to be stitched and that needs to be connected to your engine. Then the final phase would be to implement and optimize the use cases that can deliver maximum impact. While we look at this as a 30-day period, we've been consistently, from 0 to 90 days, it's a complete iteration and testing and optimizing of all the use cases that will be putting into the market. So the next question is, what next? So guys, thank you for being a part of this webinar. Before we leave, we specifically wanted to give you something today. We have three things for you. One is you have a free gift, which is a blueprint of all the data-driven marketing use cases and the workflows for you to use. If you have queries, you can always come back. There is an email ID given there. The second, a free gift that we wanted to kind of give out is an email validation tool that we have, which is our own tool, which you would get a 10,000 free email credit if you can sign up till this weekend. You will get a 10,000 free email credits by which you can actually know which are the valid email IDs in your database, which will help you to keep your database clean and hygienic, which will ensure that you have your emails getting into the inbox of your customers. And then the third thing is a personalized roadmap. If you're interested in a personalized roadmap for your brand or your organization, you can always connect to us. We will work out with you and your team. My team would be involved in it to create a personalized roadmap for you to achieve significant results in your data-driven marketing. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me. Over to Santosh.
Biju, thank you. Your passion really, that's what I call as a passion, passionate marketing technologist like yourself. Really appreciate that. A couple of things personally, I felt, especially coming out of your experience, is around, look, I mean, Teke clearly called it out. What is it, 8,000 of landscape that we spoke about? And that's a lot. And then when you look at that, and then when you sit down with people, with the likes of Kavi and other CMOs and chief digital officers out there, and I like your approach in terms of, look, here's a secret that has been worked for you and the clients so far, and how do I get you started, sort of thing. I really love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good. Now we can open up for Q&A, and we'll be glad to take any questions for us. Anyone out there? While we actually look at one of the things that's come up is Kavi, you spoke about initially what you did in the past and how did you associate your decisions based on either technology or the partners, etc. Having seen Biju's perspective on his secrets and on how does he actually doing it today, together with us, unleashing his brilliances and etc. But what's your key advice to a lot of marketeers who are on the call today?
Yeah, so definitely what Biju presented is a secret for marketeers, surely, because it is actually saving at least several man hours and the cost, the operation cost for the organization. Because this kind of accuracy in terms of getting the insight of the data is rare, actually. So I would really, personally, I would definitely go for the gift that Biju has given to explore how to actually make a use of the tool for the organization, because it is definitely, because right now we are purely relying on digital platforms, and we are communicating with our customers digitally. We don't have any opportunity, the sales guys don't have any opportunity to reach out to the audience on foot, and hence this data insight actually creates a lot of difference here, wherein you're actually reaching out to the audience even you don't know about their whereabouts or their movement, it is definitely going to be a value addition for a marketer like me.
Thank you, Kavi. I think I think that's a really good advice. And again, I'll come back to your point on behavioral economics, which is being probably the next disruption that you're looking at. And then again, this COVID also really in these testing times really adds in a lot more opportunity to focus more on these, so that we can actually learn and make it more relevant for our customers and add a feel-good factor for them. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh.
Any other questions at all? Okay. Biju, I want to give one last say to you in terms of, look, you've heard Kavi's advice, and you spoke about your secret, and generally, I just wanted to understand from your perspective, when somebody is just very initial in terms of understanding how can you help, I like the word that you used. You have a team of practitioners. So how do you want to get them started? Just on a one line, if you want to say, how do you want to get them started?
I think they have to be very clear with the use case. They want to know what is it that they want to do, and then comes the rest of it. I mean, you always have to do reverse engineering. There is no other way, because when you don't do reverse engineering, you tend to waste a lot of time. So it has to be very clear that let's say I want to be in front of my customer when they celebrate their birthday. I want to celebrate birthdays with my customer. Let's say it's that use case, right? Now I do a reverse. Now my people would do a reverse engineering to then go back to the data and look at where is that data reliable in the first place, right? One, do they have a data? Yes. Do they capture that data of birthdays? Yes. No. If no, then how can they capture? If they can, if yes, then is it reliable data? If yes, you can automate the whole thing, right? So that's how you go about doing each and every use case by use case basis, and that's how you run a data-driven marketing. I mean, you run it reverse.
Thanks,
you plan it reverse.
Absolutely, I love all the practical approaches that you presented today. I really love that, and it was a really pleasure talking to you both today. And if there are any more, I would love to wrap it up. Thank you. Thanks again, Kavi. Thank you, Biju. I really appreciate it. And thank you.
Thanks, Santosh. Thank you, Kavi. Bye-bye. Thank you all for being on this call. Thank you.
Thank you.